Hello, welcome back to American Newscape. I'm Joyce Rockwood, and I'm joined today by someone who might be making you say, hey, he looks a little familiar. If you watch X Factor, then Emmanuel Kelly is no stranger. That show was where his 2011 Australia appearance spawned a global following, and concerts from Sydney to Las Vegas ensued. But before the fame, there was actually a backstory, and it comes with not so much beauty, but with bombs and bullets that Emmanuel refused to let hold him back. Emmanuel is here today to talk with us about his early life and share the next big thing he's up to with his music. Welcome, Emmanuel!
What's going on, Joyce? How you doing?
It's great to have you here. Where are you, in Utah?
It's so good to be here. I'm in the Republic of Utah, yes.
The Republic of Utah.
I figured because of COVID, they've probably made themselves a republic by now. Yeah.
You'd be the first to
How you
know.
doing?
You'd be at the ribbon ceremony.
Yeah. I was there.
So Emmanuel, yes. I'm so excited you're here. We became friends a couple of years ago when I was in LA.
We did.
And lucky for me. And I would we have so much to share today about what you're working on and what your new releases. But before we get to that, I would love for you to share your backstory growing up and what it was like for you before X Factor.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those that don't know my story, ever since I was a child, I've always dreamed of becoming a Chippendale dancer. About 4 years ago, thanks to meeting Joyce, she connected me to a dot and I became the world's biggest Chippendale dancer. The name I go by is Arab Down Under. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm originally from Iraq. I was found in a box.
We could tell by the accent.
Yeah, it's all
Iraq.
the accent. It's yes, exactly. My accent's very, very strong. Middle Eastern accent. All Middle Easterns sound like this, by the way. No, I'm originally from Iraq. I was found in a box on a battlefield in Iraq by some soldiers who heard a baby cry one day, and they went towards that baby, and they found a box, and in that box was this gorgeous mug. They then took me to an orphanage where I was then raised there for the next 7 years of my life, experiencing bombs and hearing gunshots every day, wondering whether I was going to live or die. Eventually, after those 7 years, halfway through that 7 years, I met this incredible woman, Emmanuel Kelly. And I remember 3 days before she came to the orphanage, the nuns in the orphanage told us, there's this woman, she's going to come and hopefully she's going to help you. And so I sat on a window ledge waiting for 3 days straight. Finally, on the third day, she arrived. And I thought three things. One, can she help us? Two, is she an angel? And three, how on earth did this white woman get in this country? Yeah, she was white. Whiter than white chocolate. But she did help us, and she brought us out to Australia, where I grew up for the next half of my life. I had multiple surgeries. I learned how to walk for the first time. I learned how to use a knife and fork. I learned all the things that we every day take for granted today. And then eventually I went on X Factor, which we'll talk a little bit about. And that spawned I like that word, spawned. It's so powerful. Spawned. Anyway, that spawned it did definitely spawn a global following, and lots of people were inspired by that performance, which allowed me to pursue music and allowed me to realize that music, see, in Iraq, music was a salvation. It was a way of escape when these bombs and gunshots would go off. But then when I came out to Australia, I learned how to love myself, and I learned what love truly is, and I learned what true love is, right? And when I got to learn that, at the same time, I learned that music it doesn't have to be a salvation anymore. It can be a tool for me to exude and to let out my craziness and my love and my beauty, right? And let the world know I embrace who I am, and I am beautiful.
And your handsomeness. Don't forget your handsomeness.
Why? Yeah. Well, what can I say?
Now you have a brother, right, who was also
I'm assuming this jaw. I'm assuming that
Yeah.
jawline can cut a razor, can cut some cheese, right?
Now, you have a brother that was also.
If you need a knife cutter, I'll give you my jaw. It's all good. I'll just chop it off, give it to you, and say here.
You mentioned Moira. Now, she adopted you, but she also adopted your brother, right?
She
You have a
did. She
brother?
did. So when I was in the orphanage, I met this incredible kid. He became my brother.
Mm.
It was my brother. But I remember the first day Mum comes into the orphanage, and she told us this story years later. I don't know why. I think just to remind me how special life can be, and that the only thing thicker than blood is love. And my brother
Mm.
goes up to her and he says, Auntie Moira, I need to ask you a question. She goes, what's that, Ahmed? And she says, if you can you help both Emmanuel and I? She goes, I'll do my best. And he goes, well, Auntie Moira, if you can't help both Emmanuel and I, then just take Emmanuel and maybe come back for me another time. Right. I mean, that's pretty bloody powerful, right? This kid wasn't even my biological brother, but yet he was willing to just give up his entire life for someone that he didn't have any blood connection to. And that learning that story reminded me that truly, and taught me that lesson, that truly the only thing thicker than blood is love.
Yeah.
Love.
There's another, there it is. There's another
There it
small
is.
piece of your story that's rather fascinating. You don't have a birth certificate, is that true?
Yeah, I don't. Supposedly, I was told once by someone in the foundation that Mum had, that I had 5 different birth certificates, which is pretty
Wow.
nuts. Apparently, there's one that makes me 37 or 36 or something, and one that makes me 18 or something, right? So I don't think I look 18. I'm not sure. I don't think I look 35. I definitely don't act 36 or 37. And I mean, I barely half the time don't act like I'm 18. I act like I'm 12. So, and then I'm the size of a 10-year-old. So I'm literally the height of a 10-year-old. So, I'm pretty sure I don't know what I am really, but, I'm a strong believer that I think the reality is we are as old as we feel, I think, and
Mhm.
we choose to be. And I think age is, there's so many people around the world that don't know their age. And I feel like those
Yeah.
people tend to live the longest.
Yeah, it's a fascinating concept that you don't have to be attached to it. I mean, is there a
No.
general sense around it from because when you were
I
found at
mean,
the,
Joyce, you look like you're 16. You shouldn't
oh,
even, I
let's
mean,
not
I
go
don't think it's
crazy.
even legal for you to do this talk, right? Are you even old enough to conduct this interview? I'm kidding. No, but no, but I agree. Sorry, keep going with what you're saying.
When you were found at the orphanage, when you were found in the box, you were just a few months old, or you don't know
We
at that
don't
point.
know. We're not sure, but I mean, I would assume I was a few. I would assume that I was no more than a year old, and no
Mhm.
less than maybe a few days old, right? I mean, it's just we don't know. All we know is I arrived at that orphanage door one day with a note, and that was it.
Yeah, yeah, fascinating.
Yeah,
Okay, so do you celebrate a birthday? Do you have one that you like
yeah.
made up?
So I came. Yeah, yeah. No, I
Yeah,
came to Australia, and my mum at the time, Auntie Moira, we called her, but my mum made up this. Had the choice to choose a date, and so she chose April 25th. And the reason she chose April 25th was because April 25th is a public holiday in Australia, and she felt that it was unnecessary to make cupcakes for 30 students in a classroom. So she chose April 25th simply so she didn't have to make 30 cupcakes for 30 students in the classroom. She'd only have to make a few cupcakes or just a basic small cake for the kids. But you know what? I'm glad, right? I always say, look, it's Anzac Day, which stands for Australian and New Zealand Army Corps Day, right? It
yeah,
celebrates the Anzacs. It celebrates when the Australians and New Zealanders fought together in Turkey in World War One. So, you know, even though it celebrates that day and it's such a powerful and beautiful day, and I'm glad we celebrate that day because we celebrate freedom and all that sort of stuff, which is not something that necessarily we had in Iraq. I always say that it's because of me. It's a day after me. It celebrates the fact that I'm in Australia. And so, Aussies, you are welcome. I gave you a public holiday. No,
I'll be
that's not
happy to
the
make you
case, though.
30
I
vegan
wish.
cupcakes.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Vegan cupcakes are
You're
nice.
welcome. Yeah. So I was reading a piece on you in Variety recently. It was talking about your dream to perform with people like Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber, Justin Bieber and Justin Timberlake,
The Justin.
Adele, and even Coldplay. So now, have you performed with all of them? Are they all checked off on the boxes?
Justin, Taylor, the two Justins and Taylors, they're still a task away. Adele,
Okay.
I'm coming after you. I'm coming this year.
Okay.
Be prepped, Adele.
I'm I'm 2 degrees away from Adele, so I could help you with that.
Really? Are you really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
I am. I know
Hell,
Amanda Lee
we gotta
Brown,
talk
who's one
about
of her
that.
backup singers. So, and she
Oh my
sings
God, that's
with them,
awesome. Yeah, let's make that happen. Let's make that
We'll
happen.
make that
Adele,
happen.
I'm coming for you now. I was 4 degrees, now I'm 2.
We just cut it down.
No,
So
but
Coldplay was at the end of the list, right?
Coldplay was at the end of the list. The reason they were at the end of the list is because I wasn't any degrees of separation from them. I mean, there was like the degrees didn't even exist because I didn't have any relationship that could lead to them, right? There wasn't even an existing potential there. But Adele and the two Justins was.
Yeah, I feel like we can make a new game show because I'm also going to set you up with a 2 degrees of separation from Chris, although you already know him and you're like his son because I know Gwyneth.
Oh,
you should have
amazing.
called me a couple years ago.
I should have. Damn it, that's annoying.
But keep going. So you had no degrees of separation from Coldplay.
No degrees.
What did you do to make that happen?
So I was performing in Utah one day, right? And it was for Oprah's Belief series. Oprah didn't connect me. I wish she did. Oprah. No, I was connected. I performed at this event. This person then sent my video to someone. Someone then sent my video to another. And that person then sent my video to this guy named Dr. Habib Sadeghi, a beautiful Iranian man who started up with Chris, Love Button Global Movement, which is why I have the flag on behind me, because I will always be forever and internally grateful for that man and what his incredible organization do. They spread love. That's it. It's that simple. They spread love and help children. It's incredible. So check them out, everyone. But Dr. Habib calls me one day and he says, he calls my uncle and he says, "Hi, Peter. There's this beautiful boy. His name is Emmanuel. I know you know him. I was connected to you by his mother because he had his people writing and trying to connect with me. And I finally got your number." I do people's accents when I mimic them. It's a thing I do. Get used to it, world. And he says, and I love him. I absolutely love him. And Peter's like, "You don't know him. Trust me when you do. You ain't gonna love him, all right?" And he says, "No, I love him. And I want to connect because I want to connect him with someone very beautiful and powerful, and he's going to be amazing for Emmanuel." And so Peter connects the dots, and I speak to Peter, and this guy goes, "Can he come to LA and meet with us?" And so we're like, you know what? We got nothing to lose. Let's do it. So we went to back to LA. We met with him, sat down. He says, "Emmanuel, I want you to do a quick video and just say, 'Hi, Chris. It's Emmanuel here. This is my story. I'm a big fan.'" And I'm like, "Chris who? Chris Pine, Chris Tucker, who?" Right? And he says, "No, just Chris. That's all you need to know." And I'm like, "Oh God, okay, all right." Anyway, and in that moment, I thought, "Oh, this guy's another fake in Hollywood and all this sort of stuff." Right? Anyway, I film it. I said, "Hi, Chris. I'm a big fan of you. You're incredible. This is my story." And Habib then sends my story, which is the X Factor video and a couple articles, and so Chris about 20 minutes later responds back and says, wow, this is amazing. Do you think he'd be able to go on tour with us as a special guest? And tour, and start, do you think he'd be able to perform with us as a special guest? And Habib goes, I don't know. Let me check. Right. So he goes, Emmanuel, Chris wants to know, would you be able to go and perform with him on tour? I said, Chris who? Just say yes, my brother, and all will be revealed. And all will be revealed, he says. I said, yes. All right, fine. Yes, I'm not going on tour anytime soon, so why not? I'm not going to perform with anyone anytime soon, so why not? You know what? Why not? All will be revealed. So he says, okay, Chris and his people will call you in 4 weeks. I said, okay, great, 4 weeks. 3 weeks come by, 4 weeks come by, 5 weeks come by. Eventually I get a call. And my godfather answers the phone. He goes, and they go, hi, this is, we're from the Coldplay camp, and we're wondering whether you can. Chris saw Emmanuel's video, Chris Martin from Coldplay, and we're wondering if he would be willing to come and perform with us, all this sort of stuff. And my godfather goes, Chris who? Chris Martin. Chris Yaron? Okay, Chris Yaron. Who's Chris Yaron? No, Chris Martin. Okay, Chris Marin. Got it. And who are you guys from, and where are you from? We're from Coldplay. Oh, Coldplay's a town in England? Where is that? No, Coldplay's a band. And we're from England. Okay, so you're from England, you have a band, and the band is called Coldplay. That's a stupid name. and Peter's just, and they're like, who the heck is this guy, right? Anyway, cut a very long story short. He hangs up the phone. Peter comes to me, he goes, some guy, Chris Marin, he's from a town called Coldplay, and they're called the band, which I think is ridiculous. But anyway, they want to perform with you. I said, Peter, Chris Martin, Coldplay is the band, and they're from England originally. And he goes, oh, is that what he said? No, I'm pretty sure it's Chris Marin, and he's from a town called Coldplay. I said, Peter, just give me the damn phone. So he gives me the phone. And cut an incredibly long story short again. He gives me the phone, and he says, I answer the phone, and I talk to him, and I said, I'm so sorry. And within weeks, I was in Australia performing with Coldplay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It actually felt like you
pretty nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to have them on the list and have them be the last ones on the list and have them be really the first ones.
Well, I'm just glad that they never, they didn't, after that phone call with Peter, they didn't just move on, to be honest. But,
he put them through the ringer.
Now they're first on the list. Yeah. I then performed with them. After I performed with them, they started mentoring me. It was pretty nuts.
And that's been a couple years now?
Yeah. So Chris, after the show, Chris started mentoring me, working with me, and guiding me through the industry. It was funny. I got his number of Dr. Habib afterwards. I said, hey, Habib, Chris stated that you could pass on his number and all this sort of stuff. So I text him the next day, and Chris goes, hi, Emmanuel, it was an absolute pleasure, this, that, this. Are you writing? I said, no, not right now. I'm kind of looking for that mentor, that guide for me, Chris. And he goes, well, would you be willing for me to mentor you? Would you like that? Can I do that? So I turned around to my best mate, Alex, and Tom at the time, and I said, fellas, can you just read that text for a second? They were like, yeah, he's asking for your permission to mentor you. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure I read that right. Chris Martin, the artist of the biggest band in the world, just asked me for permission, right? That just happened. He's like, yeah, that just happened. I'm like, huh, okay then, that just happened.
It's like you couldn't have scripted a more exciting or a better story.
Absolutely.
Okay,
not. Absolutely not.
You've got a new song out. It's a single.
I do.
It's called Red Love.
It's called Red Love. Yep.
Stay tuned, everyone. We're going to play it for you at the end. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I want you to tell everyone a little bit about, tell everyone about this song. Why did you write this song?
Yeah. I wrote Red Love about self-love. I was in a really bad place. As everyone has their highs, I had my lows as well. And so after touring and seeing the world and, selling out MGM Grand Arena and all these places. It was incredible, right? Unfortunately, when I met with labels and management companies, I experienced a lot of discrimination and backlash because of the way I looked, because I was different. It was that simple. And they would tell me, because you have a disability, I don't know if you'll ever make it, Emmanuel. I don't know if it looks good for us, all this sort of stuff. And some wouldn't even tell me, but you just knew deep down inside, they'd sign someone that's unknown, but yet they weren't willing to sign someone like myself. And so, it kind of started feeling personal after a while, and the discrimination really started to attack. And so eventually, cut an extremely long story short, when experiencing this, I started going down a rabbit hole. I started to lose self-love for myself. I started to lose myself completely. And so the day I got out of that rut, right? The day there was a day when I looked at myself in the mirror and I didn't like who I was seeing. And so I said, Emmanuel, what happened to that kid who had balls? What happened to that kid who had courage, who had confidence in himself? What happened? And I looked at myself in that mirror and I said, and I punched it as hard as I could. The next day I looked at myself again and I said, I knew you were there. I found you. And in that moment, I also repeated the words that I had kind of previously heard that night, because I was looking up articles on self-love and things like that. And I saw a famous quote, a famous line from this guy named Wayne Dyer. I don't know if everyone knows who he is or whatnot, but he said a really beautiful quote, and that was, it's none of your business what anyone thinks of you. Right. So I decided to add to that quote, and I asked myself, Emmanuel, is it any of your business what anyone thinks of you? And I looked at myself and said, no. I said, so whose business is it? And I said, only myself. Right. And then I asked myself, so what do you think of yourself? And I looked at myself. I just said, what do you think of yourself? And I looked at myself again and I said, I love me. It's that simple. Right. And so when I did that, when I kept looking at myself and I said, I love me, I love me, I love me, I kept looking at myself in that mirror every day. I asked myself, is it any of your business what you think of yourself, Emmanuel? And I said, no, I love me. Right. And so when I kept thinking that, and that kind of kept manifesting, during that time, I wrote the first parts of Red Love. Then I met up with the Quincy Jones camp, incredibly, and I sat down with this incredible writer, Eli Teplin, and we sat down and we started writing. And I didn't tell him the full story. He kind of just, I said, hey, what do you think of these lines? Staring at the night sky, missing what we used to have. Money, fame, fast life. Really, I just miss my life. And he goes, change it to your life. It relates to everyone. So we started just riffing, and I said, red love, fire burning. And we just, within 20 minutes, the song was written. And it's about self-love. It's that simple. I wrote it about myself, but now looking back at it, I didn't just write it about myself. I wrote it to everyone else who's experienced this. Red love, let that fire start burning again. If you've lost self-love for yourself, start loving yourself again, right? Start feeling that red love burning inside of you. If you've lost a loved one, if you've lost your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your dog friend, whatever it is, right? It doesn't matter. Just know that there's always love inside of you. It's the only thing thicker than your own blood and anyone else's blood. And it will stand through the test of time, through the test of struggles, whatever it is. Just know red love will be there as long as you allow it to be there. But the only way for it to let it shine through you and let it shine towards others is if you allow it to shine towards yourself first, right? If you allow yourself to love who you are and embrace who you are. I'm different, but you know what? I'm beautiful. I'm bloody awesome. And I know that, and I embrace that, right? So you need to start doing that as well. And the minute you start doing that, you'll start living a much healthier lifestyle. You'll start feeling better about yourself. You'll start eating good foods. You'll start whatever it is, right? Whatever you need to do with your life, you'll start attracting beautiful, gorgeous people around your life. It's incredible what it happens. Your career will start taking off. It's amazing what happens with a simple bit of red love, a simple bit of self-love.
Music is medicine, and this is so powerful.
Music is.
So we're going to play it for everyone at the end. But before we close out, why don't you
Yeah.
share with everyone. And I love this song, by the way. I've had it on repeat, and I would just love for you to share with everyone what's next. What are you working on now?
Yeah.
I know the
I have a
album's coming out, right?
podcast.
It's called Your
Yeah. Yeah.
Story. All right, Your
Yes,
Story
the
comes out in
album comes
June. This
out.
is the single from that.
That's correct. Yep. So the album comes out around June, July, which I'm really excited about, and it's called Your Story. That's right. Um, and then there's the album in June, July. There's my podcast, which comes out around May for Mental Health Month, which I'm really, really excited. And we have an amazing co-host, a superstar co-host, which I can't actually mention the name yet. It's not something I can
Oh,
announce, but she's an absolute superstar. Um, and then we have a reality show which goes up in June, July as well. We have a one-man show which is directed by this incredible director, Michael Mayer. It's about my story, and it's a one-off, and it'll release the album. And I have a new management company which I'm really, really excited at, a record label that Chris Martin is backing as well and he's very strongly involved. Can't actually say how just yet, but he is. And the company's called Outliers, and we're signing people that are outliers of the world, people that are young people, older people that have been disenfranchised to be able to enter the music industry or the entertainment industry for that matter, in some way, shape, or form, whether it's because of sexual harassment, whether it's because they belong because they live in a small village in Italy or Africa, or they have a disability, a hidden or seen disability. Either way, right? They suffer from mental health, whatever it is, right, that prohibits their life. Because people forget the number one disability in the world is actually, and the most common disability in the world that people forget, even people that have physical disabilities, they forget this as well, is actually depression, right? The word disability means something that prohibits your life, prohibits you from living your day-to-day life. It's that simple. It also means disease or something that's uncurable, right? And the reality is depression is right now uncurable. A lot of mental health problems are incurable, and they do. Right? They do, and I've seen it firsthand. They do prohibit you from living your day-to-day life. Depression prohibited me from living my day-to-day life and set me down a horrible rabbit hole of drugs and homelessness, right? So it does hurt. So, I'm really, really excited to kind of just sign people like that. And then finally, we're also signing artists who are established and have achieved success in their life, but something happened in their journeys and they made a mistake, and they've changed though. They've found a way out, right? And they just want a second chance, because you know what? I was given a second chance, and I believe everyone deserves a second chance. So it's really important. So that's our kind of 3 pillars, which I'm really, really excited about. It's called Outliers, and we launch that in the next couple months as well.
Totally awesome. So the reality show is called Completely Abled. The podcast is called Put Out of the Box, which is, I guess, like an homage to how you were
Out
found.
of the box. Out of the box. It's called
Put Out of the Box.
No.
Oh, not put out?
Of the box.
Just out. Okay, so we got to get on Variety's butt and tell them to edit that article.
Yes, I know.
I love it. I like that even better. So I'm glad that you corrected me. Yeah. And giving people with incredible stories really, an opportunity to share and connect through story, because we all really do connect so strongly that way.
Yep.
Thank you, Emmanuel. All right. It's been so much fun having you here.
So good. We're going to sing. We're going to put out Red Love now.
Yeah. So this has been Joyce Rockwood with the one and only Emmanuel Kelly, talking about how to transform trauma to your greatest triumph and the healing power of music. Additional links and contact information on Emmanuel and how to download Red Love. Keep it on repeat, everyone. So, we want to get you. Can you tell everyone?
Check this out. There's a couple thousand subscribers right on here. So if all of you play the song 10 times every day, right? That's all you need to do for the next few weeks. I'll hit my goal, which is 2 million streams by the end of this month. We didn't get to talk about that. We got to do it, guys. We got to do it.
Which will
make me the first, I know, but it'll make me the first differently abled pop success. which will be pretty
Yes, so that is the goal here, everyone. Please do what you can to share. If you don't want to play it 10 times, play it 5 and share it with a friend. But let's get him to the top.
Or
We're
just
get him
turn
on
the volume
Billboard.
down after the 5th. Yeah, that's it. Or just turn the volume down after the 5th time and just leave it on repeat.
It's great. Too. It's such a great song. You're going to want to hear it. So keep the volume up is what I say. So keep it on repeat so we can get Emmanuel to those 2 million streams and help him to be the first physically differently abled artist to chart on Billboard. And more information on him, contact information can be seen in the See More section right below this video. And please consider subscribing to this channel. We're going to rock out with Red Love. Stay with us.
Staring at the night sky, missing what we used to have. I got money, fame, fast life. Really, I just miss your laugh. And I know I lost your heart. And I can't accept you're gone. That feeling was a red love, red love. We had a fire burning. That feeling was a red love, red love. We had a fire burning. And you can keep me warm, oh, oh. You can keep me warm, oh, oh. That feeling was a red love, red love. We had a fire burning. I'm trying to move forward, but I keep taking 2 steps back. 2 steps back. Using and abusing, trying to capture what we had. What we had. And I'm starting to accept you're gone. Gone, gone. And I'm hoping that I'm wrong. That feeling was a red love, red love. We had a fire burning. That feeling was a red love, red love. We had a fire burning. And you can keep me warm, oh, oh. You can keep me warm, oh, oh. That feeling was a red love, red love. We had a fire burning. Is that fire burning, burning? Can we start it up again, up again? Is that fire burning, burning? Can we start it up again, up again? Is the fire burning, burning? Can we start it up again, up again? Is the fire burning, burning? Can we start it up again, up again? That feeling was a red love, red love. Fire's burning. That feeling was a red love, red love. Fire's burning. And you can keep me warm, oh, oh. You can keep me warm, oh, oh. That feeling was a red love, red love, red love. Fire's burning. That feeling was a red love, red love. Fire's burning. That feeling was a red love, red love. Fire's burning. And you can keep me warm.